meeting is now live. You guys can start.
Meeting is live. Okay, hey Liz.
Hi.
Okay, so we're gonna call the Finance Committee meeting for Wednesday, August 26, 2020 at 5:30
You
p.m.
guys can start.
I'm sorry, say again? Okay, and we're gonna call the meeting scheduled for 5:30. The time is now 5:34. We'll call the meeting to order. I'm gonna do a quick roll call. I have Trustee Steve.
Present.
Trustee House is present. Trustee Brown is absent at the moment. We do have a quorum, so we'll proceed into the agenda, starting first with the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
and
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
we'll have our prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you once again for this opportunity to meet. We ask that you oversee this village, the people, and anybody that may be afflicted with COVID-19. We ask that you have mercy on those that may have been endured any catastrophe that's gone in the Black Lives Matter movement, and just ask that you continue to bless us. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen.
So with that, we're gonna go, every item on here is old business, are mostly our routine reports. One item on here, the uncollected bills from water payment, I'm gonna move as our last agenda item. I'm gonna couple that because we do want to talk about estimated bills. So we're gonna take that as the final item of discussion, as I think that may require the most discussion. So we're gonna start off with the monthly financial report. As we always do, the packet was made available via our website, as well as, I want to say all the board members should have it. We're going to take a look at the general fund as well as the water fund. So on the general fund, on page 15, for those who have it printed, page 18, for those who are looking at it digitally, we would show that the Village of Dalton has, for the month of July, surplus of $154,532. The yearly deficit through July is $300,669 for the fiscal year to date.
That's page 18.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm following.
So I want to pause there for just a moment. I'm going to ask Chris if he can kind of give his analyst perspective on that, where we at in terms of the property taxes, because I know we're going to have some influx of taxes coming in or out. So how that may impact, any reason to be concerned? Are we on track? If you can kind of share your thoughts with us, Chris.
So for July, you guys received a distribution of real estate taxes, a large portion of which was related to your debt levy because you had refunds of your general. There's two types of levy. There's the debt levy and then there's the general levy. Your debt amounts, those received quite a bit of funding. So that's why you guys got about 1.5 million in debt real estate taxes. And in your corporate fund, you didn't receive any. You will be receiving it in August. I've already started looking, and you have received distributions in the month of August. Just as of July, you didn't have it because you had one large refund in July. Does that make sense?
Okay. I'll follow. Trustee Steve, any questions or comments?
Okay, then there's also your other state revenues. Those are down in comparison to previous year. And that's just due to the effect of COVID, the ongoing effect of the pandemic, as less people are going out shopping, less sales tax, less state revenues. So that is also having an impact on your revenues.
Okay. From a cash flow standpoint, any reason for concern at the moment?
Not at the current moment, but I will add one emphasis that as collections for utilities are down, and we'll discuss it further while we discuss the estimate bills and all that stuff. But as cash flow goes down because less people are collecting on their water bills and utility bills in general, that will create problems with cash flow down the line.
Okay. And that's something, well, we'll talk about it during the next component. All right, so any thoughts or questions, Trustee Steve?
No.
All right, with the next fund that we want to take a look at is the water fund, which will be on page 18 for those who printed it up, page 21, looking at it digitally, which would show a surplus for the month, $23,046, surplus for the year, $5,861.
And what is that? That's the water fund you say, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So on there, doesn't appear to be any drastic need cause for concern. I think the things we stated in terms of utility. So anything outside of that that we want to be mindful of, Chris, for the water fund?
Yeah, just City of Chicago bills were 418,000 for this month, which is higher than usual. But that's for two reasons. One, there was a few additional days in the bills that were posted for July compared to usually you only have 30 days. This one I think had 39 days. So that's part of the reason why there was larger consumption. So that's why the bill is a little larger than usual, because usually your bills are around 300 to 310,000.
Okay. Now, is this the second month that we've had more days included in the water bill, or is this the, because I remember we discussed it, I believe, at the last meeting. So is this 2 months consecutive, or?
No, this is the month. Last meeting we discussed the effect that you will see it in the following month.
Okay. Okay. Any questions, Trustee Steve?
Wait, I'm looking at this. The July actual 23,000. Where were we at this same time last year? Can you pull it up quick all Chris?
Last year, from revenue to expenses for the waterfront, you were at 280,000.
Okay, so we had a surplus of $280,000 last year. Right now we're at 23,000.
Yep.
And why is that's low? Because of the COVID, we weren't cutting our water and stuff like that. In
part, the largest reason is if you look at the financials, last year we had budgeted, we had 1.073 million in revenue for the water fund. This, as of right now, we only charged 891,000 we billed. So that's part of the reason why we're at a lower level. We're at a lower amount of a surplus compared to last year.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna take a brief moment. I believe Trustee Brown is joining us, so I want to see if my understanding is correct. Trustee Brown, are you with us?
I'm here, but can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Sorry about the hold up. I'm just leaving work now. But
That's
I am
quite
in
all
on the
right.
meeting.
I hope you're not driving, and if you are, drive safely.
I'm driving, but it's on speaker, so I'm good.
But okay, well, we're gonna I'll just give you a catch up. All the items on the agenda, which I'm sure you've seen, are old business. We're gonna take the status of the uncollected water bills and take that one last, because that's the area that I believe we're gonna have the most discussion. So we'll leave that part for the end, as well as citizens address. We just did the monthly financial report for the general fund and the water fund, and we're gonna move into the status of our payments for the bond, as well as City of Chicago and our payment to the City of Chicago. So Chris, if you can kind of give us just an overview in terms of where we're at in terms for our bond payment this coming December, and City of Chicago, are we still current with payments?
So for City of Chicago, I'll do first. City of Chicago, you guys are scheduled to make your payment that's due August 28th. It's already gone out and been wired to City of Chicago, so you're on track. You have made this month's payment.
Okay.
In regards to your bond payments, you have started receiving real estate taxes in for your bonds, and you have already made a partial principal payment for Homewood Disposal, because when you guys pass the ordinance for the Homewood Disposal bond, included within the language was that once real estate taxes come in, you guys can the escrow agent is automatically notified then to transfer to make a payment on your bond, so that way you guys will pay less interest.
Okay, so at this moment, it doesn't appear there's any cause for concern with the bond payment.
Nope, I foresee the village having sufficient revenues coming in to make their bond payment in December.
Okay, Now, and I want to keep talking about this because I think I want to make sure we're mindful with all the different fluctuations that are going on. Things can change month to month. So it's important, of course, that we're able to do it, but I think it's just as important that we stay diligent so that if things change, then we want to be able to pivot and make fast decisions. So at the moment, it seems like there's no cause, but there could be some changes in property taxes or things that may cause us to have to buckle our belt a little bit tighter. And I want to make sure that we know, given the COVID realities, that things are going to fluctuate. It's more important that we remain on top of it. City of Chicago, I know I believe we're scheduled to make the lump sum payment to them for our annual settlement within the coming months. But I believe we also requested some relief from the City of Chicago on that. Am I correct? Has there been any update, or are we okay to make that payment?
As of right now, you're on schedule to make that payment. I know we were reaching out to Chicago. Last I heard that there was Chicago wasn't really agreeing to defer the payment. I can follow back up with the attorney to verify, but as of right now, you are still on schedule to make that payment, that lump sum payment. You have sufficient cash set aside to make that payment.
Trustee Steve Brown, any questions about the bond payment or the City of Chicago payment on the water bills?
No, I mean, from what I'm hearing, we're going to be able to make these payments. So that was my biggest concern.
I want to add one caveat. This is assuming that there's no drastic changes in revenue collections, another shutdown. So we don't know. I want to emphasize that we don't know what the future holds because we don't know how much COVID is going to affect future.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Okay. Trustee Brown, any comments?
None. I'm good. Thank you, Jason.
Anytime. Okay, well, the water bill collections, we're gonna take that to the end of the agenda. On furlough days, I think we are pleased, or I would imagine our employees are pleased that the furlough days have been lifted at this time. So all employees will be working their full scheduled 80 hours, and also it's a pleasing thing to announce to the residents that we should be able to offer an increased level of service. I think we're still going to be stretched thin, but we don't have that same amount of reduction. So that's a good thing for the community and residents, and we also do not have the same concerns as it relates to which people are taking furloughs and which ones are not. So that, from that perspective, I think we're is a better place to be at. Comments, questions from the Finance Committee?
Chris, I guess it's an assumption did we hit what we did? The furlough days, did that help for one?
Yes, it did have a cash flow savings effect from the furlough days.
Okay. So it served its purpose.
It helped save cash flow for the village. So we were able to reduce expenses and saving cash for making payroll and other expenses for the village.
All right, yes, sir.
Any other questions, Trustee Steve? Okay. Trustee Brown, any questions, comments?
No, none. Thank you, Jason.
Okay. Next item is just a follow-up on the time clock implementation. Chris, if you can, I know you had some communication with our payroll provider. If you can kind of just give us an update on what you got and what we need to do is we'll just keep this on the agenda so that way we know we're tracking it and also see what the status is. This is while on the surface it may seem like a quick thing to do. Of course, getting the information from the payroll provider is going to be something that we want to do with them. We also have to make sure we can implement it in a way that takes in all the different subtleties that is going to require in terms of if people work off site, what does the hand scanner look like, what those costs are. So hopefully it's something we can get done within 2 to 3 months, but we want to make sure we're diligent. And if there's things that push us back, we want to identify it and work through it together. So Chris, can you give us an update on where we're at?
So I reached out to our vendor, and they're working on preparing a full proposal. I'm hoping to have the proposal presentable at the next board meeting. but I gotta see if, I gotta look over the proposal, but I'm thinking, my hope is they'll have everything ready for presentation, at least to the board at the next meeting.
Okay, so you
Okay.
received something, you're just kind of gonna put it in a presentation format for, is this for the September board meeting,
Yes, that's my goal.
Chris?
That's my goal.
Okay, sounds good. Questions from committee?
Anything you want to add, Liz?
Yeah, I just wanted to add, so we're aiming for the Cal meeting, not the September 8th meeting. I think it's going to be, what is that, the 21st? That's the meeting that we're aiming just to present. But initially, when Chris and I went over the figures, we're actually going to save money by implementing the time clock. And the money savings that we're going to see, it comes in the form of the amount of money that we're paying Casperate Group to do payroll, the amount of time that Janice has to spend on payroll, that will help us a lot. And I think we're going to actually save over, what was it, Chris, possibly like $1,000 a month?
Yep, that sounds about right.
Yeah, just by implementing this. So we're actually going to be saving money.
Good.
And then on the back end, the amount of money that we're going to be saving by not having to pay out, time that might not be accounted for.
And then also free up some department heads to do other tasks and some other employees who are being timekeepers to be able to do other things.
That's
Good.
all good stuff. Liz, we missed hearing your voice, so I'm glad you chimed in there. But we are, I think it's a good thing moving forward. So thank you. I think it's going to be a bigger savings than just the initial, but I think that's what Administrator Scott was also mentioning too.
Right.
So that's good. We'll stay on top of it every meeting until we're able to get it in place and see what things. If you need some support from the finance committee or the board, I'm sure we would all be glad to help you out. Okay. Any questions, comments from the committee?
No.
Oh, I'm good with that.
Okay. Hearing none. Last but and definitely not least, we want to talk about the our uncollected water bill. So there's a couple of things that we want to talk about on here. There's the status of the water bills that are outstanding, our estimated readings that are going on within the community, as well as the timing of sending out the water bills to the community. So I'm going to first tackle the water bills because it is on the last page of our financial reports, which would be page 40 printed. I believe that's 43 if you're looking at it digitally,
Yeah.
which would show that
44.
44. Thank you for the correction. The $3.9 million of uncollected bills, 3 million of that being over 120 days, 60,000 at 120, 147,000 at 90, and then of course the 495 has just been billed, so that's not a big concern. But 3.9 million of outstanding water bills for the past year. So, we definitely want to make sure that we're getting that, trying to find a way to get that under wraps. But I think a bigger concern, I know our administrator and I were talking about that, but maybe
Are you breaking up, Jay?
elaborate
Jason, you're breaking up.
Challenges that we made that you may be seeing with estimated bills.
Jason, can you hear us?
Am I
You're
breaking up?
breaking up.
Can you hear me?
Are you breaking up? You got to repeat all that. You broke
You
up.
have to repeat
Can you hear me?
everything. It was broken up.
I
Yeah.
can hear you, but if you can't hear me,
You sound like a digitized, your
Yeah,
voice
you-
sounds
okay,
digitized
can you hear
on
me
the
now?
computer and.
You sound like you chopped and screwed.
Can everybody hear me?
Oh, and he disappeared and he's gone. Okay.
He probably lost connect because his screen froze anyway.
Oh, okay.
So he probably gonna get back on. He did sound.
Oh, well, it's like, yeah, he sounded digital.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm sure he's about to get back on.
So I wanted to chime in on the estimated bill. So we have had higher than normal as far as estimates. And I do think that one reason for that is because of the COVID and the pandemic. You have to think that we weren't able to go in the houses. Some residents still don't feel comfortable with people coming in the house, which is understandable. And we were also working off of 2 meter readers, and really more so like 1.5, because the meter reader was having to kind of play double time going over to the water department. As I know, most people know, we had several employees contract coronavirus, and that really put a hamper on things that actually compounded what was going on during the pandemic. So I am guessing now that we did bring the employees who were laid off, the 2 meter readers that were reading meters, now that they are back, actually 3. I do anticipate that we're going to have an increase in water meter readings. And I also wanted to bring up the fact that I'm noticing, because now I'm going into Locus and looking into the system. I do think that at some point we need to sit down, and the board needs to make a decision on looking into another software company. Last year, Janice, myself, and Chris sat down, and we sat down with a few different vendors to look at different companies and the things that they offered and what we thought would work best for Dalton and the things that we needed. And I think that we need to look into that, because the system that we have now, there's a lot of issues. And I think that I called around to several different municipalities, and based off of that and their recommendations, we had 3, and there was one in particular that I think would be a good fit. So at some point, maybe for the committee of the whole, we can look into that. But we are starting to move some of the accounts slowly into collections. I don't think we're going to see that money for some time. I mean, but there are bills that are in excess of $15,000. We're seeing a lot of bills that are 10,000 plus. And that is what's attributing to the high rates of uncollected water. It's from people who have, left town, moved away, and basically stuck us with a water bill.
So what do we have in place to keep us from going back to that? Do we have anything in place now to stop water bills from getting out of hand?
So one of the things that I know that the water department implemented was putting the water bills, when possible, in the tenant's name. And that way, when that tenant leaves, we can, stick them with the bill, or when their water is turned off, they are responsible for that bill. The other thing that's going on that I'm seeing right now are some of the owners are requesting that the tenants put the water bills in their names. But when people are purchasing these homes, we have to just stay diligent, but we have been on collecting the money for the final bills and making sure that they pay that out before they sell the homes. And moving forward, that's what we're going to do. We're just going to have to make sure that the water bills are in that individual's name. I know in the past we've run across accounts that had no name, and it just said resident or renter. So we're not doing that anymore. And I am seeing that that's starting to make a difference.
Okay. Another question. I had a couple of calls over the past 2 weeks, again, about water bills going out late. What would that cause the water bills again to be going out late?
So with that, I'm not sure. I would have to follow up with Sonia in regards to why the water bills went out late. So I can't really answer that, but they did go out late.
Okay. Well, like I said, I got a couple of calls over the past 2 weeks. One just recently today, and a tenant is wondering why, the water bills are going out late, and this has happened more than once.
Yes, I am gonna address that with Ms. London when she comes back.
Okay. Now, would that be due to the vendor we're using, or would that be on us, meaning the village?
Again, trustee, I'm not really sure, so I don't want to, guess, but I will speak with Ms. London, and I will follow up with you on that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
If I can And can everybody hear me now? Am I back?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you back.
Hey, welcome back. I know that was a hot issue at our last committee meeting as well as this one. And that's why I put that one to be the last item on the agenda. We did, it's one area, I guess I want to maybe pull from the committee a recommendation we could take from our committee to do it. Ultimately, we have to make sure that we have Ms. London available, and at this moment, she's been out of the office, so she's not available for this meeting. However, we do want to continue to update, make the recommendations at a certain point that they have to be implemented, or some kind of strategy has to be done to clear things going forward. We can't keep on having these things go late. I know it was the sentiment of the board, of the committee, that we don't want this, and I know the residents don't want their bills coming late. Speaking with Chris, that it also leads to another impact that on in terms of the strain on our village's finances. So it's an issue that we have to continue to discuss, make sure that we're pressing forward until we get a resolve. So at our upcoming meeting, I think there's a point that we all want to make sure is followed up. I would imagine, I hope Ms. London will be present for that meeting as well as others. I know Trustee Steve had her present at the previous meeting, and we have to keep on dealing with it head on until it's fixed. But,
Yes, and I did want to add also, we have been waiving the late fees since they have been going out late.
okay, well, I'm
I
definitely.
understand about that. You know, we would have to waive the late fees, but if this continues to be an issue, we need to figure out what's the issue, why they're going out late, and fix this problem here. Because again, we're hearing that we won't have this problem again, and then we're back at it again. So we need to buckle down, find out why it's going late, and get it fixed.
I agree.
All we can say to the resident, we're going to look at it. No. We got to get it fixed. We got to stop looking at it and get it fixed.
I agree.
Okay. I think that concludes our agenda for this. Any final thoughts or comments from the committee before we go to citizens address?
No, Jason, I'm good.
No, I'm good.
Okay. Hearing none, I'm going to say, Giovanni, if you're available, if you can kind of see if there's anything out there for citizens address. I do have one message that came into me via text message, but I'll see if there's anything out there first.
Yes, we have one question on citizens address. And the question is, can a longer time period be given, something longer than 24 hours, to get the cards turned in to the village because there's not enough time for the seniors? The estimate reading cards.
Okay, so I can kind of jump in on this. So I think they put that out because they're basically trying to say as soon as possible. There is a time frame, like a window, but we just try to tell people, as soon as you get the card, turn it back in. That's essentially what it is. But if you do turn the card in 5 or 7 days later, that's fine as well. And you can also call myself, the water department. I know sometimes they've been swamped as of late and they don't answer the phone, but if you call someone else, you get a hold of myself. You can always call in your reading and we'll make sure that it's entered into the system properly.
Okay. One other question that I received was, did the village receive any money from the county for COVID? And if so, how much?
Okay, so I'm going to chime in on that also. So the county, based on they allocated a certain amount of money for Dalton, specifically $747,000 and some change. With that being said, that doesn't mean that they just send us a check. We have to prove the money that we need it. There's different ways that we can get that money from them. One is payroll. So during the time of COVID, which I don't remember the exact date, but it's basically from March through the end of this year, we can submit certain things with payroll in regards to police and fire. Also, individuals, employees within the village that contracted coronavirus, the money that we had to pay them, the 80 hours of COVID pay, that is also reimbursable. COVID expenses, masks, sanitizing, those types of things are also expendables that we can submit to the county. Like I said, I have submitted to the county that we do intend to submit and utilize the full amount of money that we were allocated. And those numbers, the amount of money that we got from the county was based on population. And basically they surveyed the area and determined that this is what they felt that our community needed. And I also wanted to add that we did receive one of the highest allocations in our area. So I will be submitting that paperwork. I've been talking with Chris to get our payroll and other figures and things that I have to submit. It's going to be a lengthy process, but we are going forward. And as soon as we get the money and the amount of money we get, I will announce it.
Good stuff.
Thank you for that update.
We have one more
Now,
question.
go ahead. Go ahead.
You can go ahead and maybe on the same topic. I'll wait.
Giovanni?
Okay. I just wanted to ask a question. Now, with that funding, will we be able to hire an additional employee or anything like that, or no? I'm talking about like police, fire, or no?
No. However, that money that we would get back would be ours. So if we chose to use that money to hire some more police, that is possible. I just think that we have to keep in mind that there is a possibility that, you know, COVID could come back to the point that we have to shut down the coronavirus. The governor may decide to shut down, and we have to be mindful of our spending at this time. And $747,000 sounds like a lot, but the reality is that's less than 2 payrolls for the village. So, you know, that we just have to be mindful of our spending.
All right. We have another question in regarding the option to call in for the reader. They want to know what number. Would that be Village Hall or?
You can call the main number and ask for someone at the front desk, or you can call myself at Village Hall, 708-201-3348. I think people have my number. A lot of people have my number, but you can call, leave a message and leave your reading if someone doesn't answer, or you can email it. If you email it to anyone in the water department, then they will receive it as well.
And I think maybe a call to or email, because we know the water department is short staffed right now because of the people off because of COVID. So I know that you may call and the phone may be ringing and ringing and ringing. So best even call Liz or send the email. That may be the best way. Because I know the water department is short staffed and they're already tied between the window and the drafted window. So it's hard for one person's over there to do all that and answer the phone.
Yes.
That's what I meant about hiring an extra. If everybody in the water department is out sick due to whatever, is there anybody else that's versatile that can actually work the water department? You know, is everybody cross-trained, should I say? That's what I mean when I say cross-trained. Do we have others that are cross-trained? Again, this should be a learning lesson for us. If the water department is shut down, who else is cross-trained? And not just one person, you know, more than one person that could possibly fill in.
I know Cheryl works over there. That's the only person I know that goes can go between both. And I know people when now that the water department has been shut down, it's back open now, but some majority of people have been coming over to Village Hall. Am I correct, Liz?
Yes, they've been coming over to Village Hall. That's why I gained access to Locust, so I could, you know, look at people's water bills and be able to assist them. So we're all kind of doubling up for the time being. But, you know, we just brought people back off of furloughs, layoffs, and I just want to make sure that the village is solvent. And I know that we are also looking to do some other things such as hire police. And I think that's important for the safety of the community. So
Absolutely.
as we can, I would like to bring on more employees, at least definitely one more for the time being. So that, yes, trustee, to answer your question.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, that concludes the questions. I just want to take another moment again to say thank you to Chris, Ms. Scott, Ms. Giovanni for taking time after hours to facilitate this meeting and work with us on that. We definitely appreciate you, and I don't want to let that go unspoken. With that, we're gonna.
Oh, wait, trustee, may I please I have to say something about the census.
Oh yeah, please do.
So we have really been pushing for the census and for individuals to go online or to turn in the form that they send. It's very important. And I'm going to tell you, this is a perfect example what's going on right now. Chris, thank you for reminding me, by the way. So this is important. So when the county had to survey the damage from the pandemic and to give us assistance, one of the factors is population. And you know how they know the population? When you fill out for the census. So, we have had this is considered a hard to count community. Right now, we're hovering around 70%. There's no excuse for that. I'm going to need everyone to get on board and fill out this census. This information is strictly being used to do population count for when things like this come up, when we apply for grants, when we need infrastructure, and we need money from the government. So please fill out the census. It's really important, and it's things like this that directly impact the community. Thank you.
Oh, Liz, not to interject, but you may want to also share the setup that we have at Village Hall where residents can come in to complete the census on the kiosk.
Oh yeah, thank you, Giovanni. Yeah, so please come into Village Hall. We have a whole monitor set up. If you do not have access to the computer, I know it's really hot right now. We have Melanie Fitness Center open for a cooling center, but you can also come into Village Hall. We have hand sanitizer. We're giving out perks if you do come in and fill out the census. Come by, say hi. If you need to pay your water bill, you can stop right in and fill it out. And it's really simple. It literally takes 3 minutes. It took me 3 minutes to fill it out. Thanks, Giovanni.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you for that last comment. And with that, we're going to take a motion that we adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
Quick roll call. Trustee Steve.
Aye.
Trustee House is aye. Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Okay, we have that, and the meeting is concluded. Thanks everybody for your time.
All right.
Yeah.
Peace out.
Thank you.
Good night.
Night.
Good night.
Okay.